tell you what, in today's video, I just want to point out something that's been really aggravating me lately. Alright. RT. Basically, anybody who watches this show would know who RT is. Here's my question. What the hell is RT even doing? Now, I'll have to elaborate on that a bit. Okay, so you've got Black Lives Matter, a righteous struggle against an unjust system. And it would seem that RT would certainly respect the struggle of African Americans against police abuse. But then they keep publishing white supremacist garbage, posing as op-eds. Okay. So you had a bunch of liberals, and they were white people kissing the feet of black people in some stupid liberal racialist, not necessarily racist, but racialist stunt. And this idiot writing this op-ed, and this is just one example, the anti-PC professor decided that this was a struggle session and that it's Maoism. Apparently, this is what Dum Dum thinks. And I'm sorry for the name calling, but you're either too stupid to understand what a struggle session is, or you're too stupid to look up what it is. You're stupid either way. This reminds me of things like the struggle sessions of the Red Guards during Mao's China. I would like you to point to exactly one example where people were kissing other people's feet during the struggle sessions in revolutionary China. Let me help you out with that. There are none. You completely fabricated that out of whole cloth. The point was to say, oh, look, the cultural Marxists are taking over, without actually using the term cultural Marxist. Okay, so we gather that this anti-PC professor is an idiot and doesn't know what they're talking about. Alright, there's plenty of idiots that don't know what they're talking about. But RT, who would know? Why would you publish something so stupid? I understand publishing a dissenting opinion, but this was just idiotic. And there seems to be a lot of these kinds of articles coming out of RT now, like, basically low-key, dog-whistling, anti-black articles. And I've noticed that. Things that were written specifically to make people who were already white, racists who were already white, more racist. And I'm noticing that a lot more. And that really started to take off when these BLM protests over the death of George Floyd began. Now, logic would dictate that the Russian government does want one thing: the U.S. empire to fall, so that it can stop sanctioning it, etc. Okay, I understand that. It's not like I oppose the destruction of the American empire. But here's my problem. Oh, I should backtrack and explain. They're intentionally trying to whip up racial division rather than standing on the side of justice. Now, there's a difference between supporting Black Lives Matter and opposing police violence and deliberately going out there and trying to whip up hatred against black people. These are two different things. And it seems RT is interested in whipping up hatred towards black people. They're trying to dog whistle, instigate, or goad people who are white people who are already racist against blacks by trying to portray this as some kind of coming race war or something, when that's not what this is about. Okay, now I could understand why you would want to do that if you wanted to destroy the American empire, to create division, sow chaos in American society so that it would collapse. Okay, that has its logic to it. You can agree or disagree, but it does have its own logic and reasoning behind it. And it's not like I oppose destroying the American empire. Here's my problem. the way they're doing it, off the backs of a righteous protest in the United States. Wouldn't it make different sense to support BLM against police brutality, to fight for justice? And that fight for justice would eventually undermine the authoritarian nature of the U.S. government. You could debate whether or not that would be effective at combating foreign policy. I think it would be a step in the right direction, and that it would affect U.S. foreign policy, perhaps make it less jingoist. But in the end, it would be better than deliberately whipping up racist sentiment in the United States. Now, here's another thing I take exception to. I commented on that op-ed. The idiot who thinks kissing people's feet is somehow the struggle sessions. And I don't think I have to explain what a struggle session is to my own audience, because they're not functionally brain dead like this guy is. And yes, I'm using a lot of insults because that's how angry I am. I left a comment expressing that and explaining why it was wrong, but I used the word garbage. And the RT website said, "Are you sure you want to post that? This seems potentially offensive." So I said, "Yes. Your comment is being held for review." Yet, if you go on any RT article, it is absolutely filled with anti-Semitism, which somehow makes it through their filters. There are literally scientific articles on black holes, and still the audience finds a way to link it to Jews. I don't know how that's supposed to work. Something about funneling money away from something or other, something about wasting tax money, or something about, I'm sure, something that makes no goddamn sense whatsoever. But somehow they always trace it back to Jews. And for some reason, these anti-Semitic comments always make it through RT's filters. Would someone at RT care to explain that? Like, I can get to some degree wanting to whip up racial division in the United States in order to cause harm to the U.S. empire, but deliberately letting anti-Semitism through for what purpose? It's the comment section. It's not even like an article itself. RT's explicit broadcasts are the things that it publishes, not necessarily the comments themselves. So why are they letting it through? You know, it's kind of irritating when you want to call someone out on what they're saying that's complete nonsense, and it gets held for review, but endless amounts of anti-Semitic nonsense can get through every time. I would really like some kind of explanation for that. I think that, I think RT's audience is owed an explanation for that. I think the people that support RT are owed an explanation. Now, I know what some of the people in my audience are saying. Well, if you keep going on like this, you're never going to be on RT. Well, if that's the case, then so be it. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that that's probably not going to happen. Fine. Somehow my heart will move on. Heart will go on. Sorry, I got the phrase wrong. But that's what really annoys me, is that RT was so reliable for getting out the stories that other mainstream outlets didn't want you to hear. And having that voice, even if it is another bourgeois capitalist voice, it's still getting the stories that we're not hearing otherwise. And that's what's important. But now they're not doing that anymore. They're kind of filtering, they've cut like half of that out in order to put in white supremacist garbage disguised as op-eds. When half of your op-eds are just, You know what? Not even half. Lately it's been like almost like the majority of them. I could write a better op-ed than that. And I'm not even a professional writer or a professional douchebag like the guy who wrote the one about the Red Guards. And I could write a better op-ed. Fine, whatever. But RT, you built yourself on telling the stories that the mainstream media won't tell. Even if it doesn't conform to the class lens that a Marxist like myself would like to see it through. It's still the story. But you're not doing that anymore. Or at least you've significantly reduced that to put up dog-whistling white supremacist garbage. RT, you're better than that. And not only are you better than that, we need you to be better than that. We need you to tell us the truth that the mainstream media is not going to tell us. Even if we're going to blatantly disagree with your particular angle on it or viewpoint, we still need that story. And that's my problem with this. I just said it and I'm going to say it again. RT, you're better than that. And people need you to be better than that. Whether you like it or not, you have a responsibility to the truth. I know the mainstream media says they have a responsibility to the truth and just lie their ass off, or more specifically, lie by omission. But you, as being the alternative to the mainstream media, which people don't trust anymore, have a responsibility to the truth. You can't stand there and say that you're the truth, the alternative from the lies, and then not broadcast the truth. If you're going to take up that mantle, you have a responsibility to follow that. And I'm sure a lot of other people would really like it if you would get back to that as well. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.